I went to Lipscomb University, and from there, I started working in a data center for a healthcare company. My major was vocal performance, and my minor was computer science. I ended up working in my minor and dabbling in my major over the years. But from that grew my infatuation with computers and technology. So when I began in IT, it was as a tape operator. So I literally took DLT tapes and put them either in a silo or in machines to pull data off of them. Before then, there were real tapes as well that we use. Of course, we're nowhere close to that technology anymore since then, but just trying to figure out what is the information that's on these tapes? Where is it going? How is it being read? All of that kind of played a role in me trying to figure out, okay, I want to know more. Went on to be a print operator and then production control analyst, meaning monitoring schedules and issuing commands in Unix system, trying to figure out, okay, what does all of this mean? And then as I'm learning it, I'm like, wow, there's so much here. Of course, in the background, the IT world is expounding. And it's like, okay, next journey is coming. Let's see what's going to happen next. And then I get into POS support with the help desk, went from a tier 1 to a tier 2 to a lead to a supervisor, ultimately staying there and literally loving being able to train everyone that came in after me. And that was my job, was to give them the information about what we did and the training material and cultivate that the whole 9 yards. So it was just, okay, I went from doing one thing to something completely different, but it all involved issuing commands and trying to figure out what's the deep dive here, where are the issues, what's the problem, and trying to figure it out. So that made me realize I like to pick apart and get down into the meat of it and say, okay, well, what's in this bone that makes it sturdy? And that's kind of my basis for IT. And I still kind of take what I learned from the beginning, way back when in college when I was working as an operator, and I still use that. I had a notebook then that was probably about this big with all of my notes in it so that I was functional for myself, that I created. I still do the same thing today just to make sure that I stay relevant in the position that I'm in.